Recording Soul 6. As I was setting up the camera, I had a brief thought of something I could talk about, which is I constantly have this feeling, and I think a lot of people have this feeling, but it's this feeling that I'm never doing enough. Even though I am doing things, I'm being productive, I'm doing the things I said I was going to do, and even sometimes doing more and producing more than I said I would, there's always a feeling of never enough. There's always a feeling of I should be doing more, I'm not doing enough. And I think that's very common for a lot of people, not just myself. And when I think about why that is, I think it's kind of built into the structure of our society. I think it's almost built into how our society functions. There's always something else you can be doing, or even in a view of like a materialistic view, there's always the next thing to buy and the next thing to buy. This consumer mindset, this producer mindset, that there's never a point that we get to in our day-to-day lives or in our lives over its entirety that enough is enough. There's always things to do, and when you accomplish that task, it's always on to the next task and on to the next task. Or it's you buy one thing that you had on your list and then you don't have any more things. Maybe you've bought everything you've wanted. You'll still find something else that you'll want to buy, and you go on to buy that. And I think the message with that is saying that when you set goals and you achieve those goals, it's okay to take a break, or it's okay to be happy with where you are in life, or it's okay to be happy with the current process or your current productive level, productivity level, to because it's either you become aware of how you're interacting with the world and how society is making you interact with the world, or you just continue on the treadmill and running and continue on the hamster loop, for lack of a better metaphor, and you just continue the cycle of doing the same thing. So it's important to try to slow down and acknowledge that, oh yeah, like look how far I've come. I've done some of the things I said I was gonna do. I've got to a point that maybe I never thought I would have achieved those things or produced those things, and here I am today doing those things and have done some of those things, instead of the mindset that there's always another thing to do. There's always another thing to do. What's next for me? What's next for me? I think that takes away some of the joy in the process of doing and just being in the moment and enjoying what the moment is of whatever it is you're working on or whatever situation life is currently at for you. So that's kind of what I have to try to keep in mind. I have to try to keep that in mind, that it's not the gratification, the reward isn't always going to be in the next thing. It's not always going to be in doing the next thing or buying the next thing or achieving the next thing. The gratitude, or not the gratitude, I just said the word, the satisfaction or pleasure needs to be in the now. I need to learn how to make it in the now at all times, so then that going forward, I'm always in the satisfaction of whatever I'm doing at the moment. And there's kind of a story, you could say, or it's kind of a quote that's, and I don't know how it goes essentially, but the story is that, say you go and you want to hike to this top of a mountain, and the entirety of the hike up the big mountain, all you're waiting for is the view at the top of the mountain. You're just waiting for that moment when you get to the top and you have this beautiful view you've achieved getting to the top of the mountain, but essentially you'll only go up and get to the top of the mountain with whatever kind of perspective you already carry in life. So if you're not present in the entire journey up the mountain, and you're not satisfied with each step of the way up the mountain, once you get there, you look around, there'll still be a hole in you. And then once you start your descent down the mountain, that that instant gratification, or those moments you had at the top of the mountain, will just dissipate automatically, and it's on to the next thing, instead of enjoying each and every step of the way. So it's kind of like the quote is, I think, like, you'll only take up the mind, you'll only take to the top of the mountain the mindset you already have, that you carry around in the rest of the world. Which I hope you can get what I'm getting at with that story. It's trying to be in the eternal now. It's trying to be in the eternal now. And it's very hard to do that in our society, because there's always new news. There's always new traumatic things on the news. There's always the new latest and greatest whatever. There's always a better car to get, or a bigger home to buy. There's always this new food to try. There's always this new trend. There's always something. It's such a fast-paced world we live in. And to I think to have a healthy and stable mindset is to slow down in this fast-paced world, and really establish checkpoints in your day-to-day life, that you aren't just walking through your day-to-day life and in robotic mode of doing the same things, that there are actual times that you can stop and essentially look around and smell the roses and enjoy whatever it is you're doing. An example I'll give as well, another example, I had set out that I wanted to start streaming my show, and this took some time. The first idea I had for doing the Be My Guest show, I think I wrote about it like 2 years ago, that after coming out of hospital, I would start this show. And essentially in my mind it was blossoming from, or a cocoon to a butterfly out of a negative experience, and I would grow it into, or I would turn it into a butterfly of a positive experience. And it took me probably a year later, after writing that, to start doing the things. Or I painted my room, I bought a desk, I bought a microphone, bought a computer, and then going through setting up all the software, setting up the programming, learning to do some lighting, some editing, learning to do all of that stuff. But I can sit here now and look back at all of it, and it's, did I enjoy when I first had the thought of, this is what I want to do, to where I am now? Did I have moments in that of enjoyment in doing that? Did I have moments of enjoyment in posting the first video and doing the first stream, or doing the first 10 streams? Was I able to slow down enough to look around and really enjoy the moment of doing those things? So I think it's going to be important to constantly question myself, and bring up and pose that question: am I enjoying this? Or am I just caught up in the trying to be satisfied and chase trends and do this sort of thing? And I think for me to be successful in what I'm trying to do will be to avoid trends, avoid being sucked into some of that negativity in social media, and some of the things that can trap us and make us want to fight against other people's ideas and fight against other people's ideologies and beliefs, and to steer clear of that and stay on the track of what my mission and my purpose is in doing content. So I think that will be very important. But yeah, it's such a fast-paced world we live in, and it's so strange. It's so strange how it's set up. It's just, one thing after the other, one task after the other. You'll have your list of tasks, you get those done, and you make another list of tasks and another list of tasks. Or you walk around the house and you go, oh, I could add something there, or we could paint that room, we could change our furniture, we could add a plant there, we could add a picture there. I need new kitchen silverware. I need a new stove. I want a better car. That's the kind of materialistic mindset that our society is kind of built upon. And I think trying to sever that is very hard. It's very hard to sever that lust and that pull towards gathering more things. And we're like hoarders. We're like a hoarder society of new things. We just want all the new things, and we go and buy all the new things. And it's so easy because you go online and you do some clicks, and then they're at your door in a day in a box. It's literally like magic. It's literally like magic. I don't even know how it happens so fast, from a click to on my doorstep. It's fascinating. It's amazing in a lot of ways, but it's scary in a lot of ways how accessible some of the materialistic things to acquire have become, and to further go down that path in this world. But a thing I did was, and this I guess was, well, I did it for a couple of reasons. One was affordability. Well, I'll tell you what I did first. So I drove a truck. I bought a truck when that would have been like 4 years ago. I think it was like 21. I bought a truck. Did I necessarily need it? No. Did I think it made me a little more masculine? Did I feel more like masculine and manly in a cool truck? Yeah. But essentially, I traded that truck in for a Honda Civic, and in so doing that, I kind of like realized that I don't need all of the better things. And it's not to say that I don't want things still, or want better camera or better things for my studio. It's not to say that that isn't true, but kind of like realizing that I don't need a certain vehicle to have a level of status or to make me feel good. So kind of severing that was very interesting, and it was kind of like an ego-driven thing to begin with, to buy the truck. So when I went and traded it in for a Honda Civic, I felt more, how would I describe it? It really felt better internally. Like on an intuitive level and internally, I felt better that I wasn't portraying myself or going out of my way to drive something or be someone that I'm not, in a sense. And I think when you can look at our lives and be ourselves to the fullest extent is when we will be the happiest and be completely liberated. But we have to look at, where are we projecting? Where are we portraying ourselves in ways that we aren't? Where are we not living to our fullest and purest intentions? And I think that is hard sometimes, to sit down and pick yourself apart like that, because who wants to look at all their flaws? Who wants to look at all their shortcomings? No one wants to sit down and do that to themselves. But I think that's the only way to be the best version of yourself, or to be the happiest version of yourself, honestly. Because even after I got the car, I was way happier, and never once have I thought about the truck and been like, oh yeah, I miss it. I don't at all. And I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that it was almost like I was more authentic. I was more authentic to myself after not driving something that was maybe more of like a younger, not so wise decision, because of some of the ego. The ego came into play and made that decision for me to buy that vehicle. And then taking some time, trading it in for something else, was like me overcoming and defeating the ego in that sense. So it's a constant battle with our ego. It's a constant battle for overcoming our impulses, and the impulses and the ego are very strong. They are strong enemies. Strong, 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 strong enemies. Impulse and ego. I remember I wrote in, I think I had it written on my whiteboard at one time, but it said something like, the ego must die to be liberated. Or it was like, my ego has died for all of eternity to never be seen again. And I think we need to go to war against our ego and look at what areas of our life is our ego winning, and where can we then defeat it and become a more authentic version of ourselves, essentially. So yeah, those are some thoughts. Those are some thoughts going on. Let me get a little comfortable here. Oh, the hips are a little tight. I haven't been stretching or exercising or moving at all. So sitting crisscross applesauce was a little tough there. The hip flexors are a little tight. And although all of my content right now, everything I'm producing right now is kind of based upon mental health and psychiatry, or that world, as well as kind of just my outlook on life in a lot of ways. But I've yet to get into really like exercise and psychology of being an athlete and all of that stuff, because that's what my entire life, for the most part, for 19, 20 years, was being an athlete, working out and training the mind. So at some point, a lot of that well of knowledge will come out in me speaking, but I've yet to really go there, which is kind of interesting. I think it's good though, but I don't want to. I don't want to pigeon toe or pigeonhole. Pigeon toe. I don't want to pin myself in a box that I'm solely reliant on talking about one thing, or being the one trick pony that only talks about the time in the psych ward. I want to be someone who has my viewpoints on whatever's happening in the world, exercise, being an athlete, trying to become a professional athlete, how to train your mind, the psychology of it, the battle tactics of being an athlete, mentality needed, diet, exercise, also how to recover from mental health episodes, all of this stuff. I want to be someone who can provide value and information in all of these different topics, and I am someone who can, and I am someone who does. So that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about on this side of town. But with that being said, I will say, to end the show, to end the soul, we must learn to saunter. I forget how it goes. Damn. I forget how it goes. It's a quote. I said I was gonna try and end these with a quote. And it's my own quote too. What a. I was gonna say bitch, but I caught myself. Um, but the quote is, we must learn to saunter down our desired paths in life.